I want to talk about the registry just so you guys are aware of this. Now, there are two types of registration for the drone registry. And yes, the registry is mandatory. You have to register your drone. And you have to register yourself, especially if you're going to be flying commercially. But the two types of registration are recreational registration. So this is if you're flying for fun or as a hobbyist. And then second is professional if you're Part 107. Okay, and the way I want you to think of these two is think of it like the DMV. So your recreational flyer, the FAA is going to give you, a human being, a number, an FAA number. So like the DMV gives you a driver's license with a driver's license number that's associated to you. Well, the FAA is doing the same thing under the recreation. They're giving you, the human being, a number. Now, under the commercial 107, you're going to register each one of your drones that you're flying commercially. So if you have 3 drones that you're flying commercially, you'll register each one, and the FAA is going to give each drone its own individual FAA number. Kind of like the DMV. If you have a car and a truck and a motorcycle, they're going to give you 3 different numbers called license plates, right? For each one that's registered to each one of the vehicles you have. In this case, they're doing it here. So you're going to register both. You're going to register recreational for you. It's going to give you a number. And then each one of the drones that you're going to be flying commercially, you're going to register those. The registrations are $5 each. And you're going to go here to FAAdronezone.faa.gov and register it. If you ever pay, if you end up on a site and they're charging you more than $5, you're on the wrong site. I know when they first came out, there were some sites, I think it was actually droneregistration.com or droneregistry.com, and they were charging like $1,200. It's crazy. And you type all the information out, and then it would just auto-populate on the FAA site, and then they'd pay the $5 for you and then charge you $1,200. It's absolutely bonkers. So don't pay more than $5 per registration, okay? All right, and then the website, once you go there, it's going to look like this. You're going to go here, you'll create an account, username and password. And then once you get access to it, you're going to click over here and you're going to click on launch the drone portion. And then it's going to open up all of the stuff for your drone zone. So Part 107 over here, and for your recreational stuff over here. And you can have different pilots registered there, and you can have however many drones you need registered there as well. And then once you register recreationally, then what's going to happen is they're going to send you this little temporary, well, it's not really, they call it a drone registration. They're going to give you, the human being, an FAA number here. But essentially, this is just, you're agreeing to stay under 400 feet, not fly near other aircraft, stay away from emergency vehicles, not fly near stadiums and stuff, not fly while you're doing crack or cocaine or, heroin or any of that stuff, or under the influence of alcohol, and never fly within 5 miles of an airport. So you're kind of agreeing to what most of us would consider common sense stuff, right? And so that's essentially what this little card is. All right. Okay. Now next up, remote ID. Now this just came into effect this last year, and essentially what remote ID is overall this is a good thing for safety and the industry. And what it is, it's essentially a digital license plate in the sky for your drone. So it's so first responders and air traffic control, they can identify where your drone is, just like all the other manned aircraft that are out there. And this went into effect back in March 16th of 2024. All right. And now there are 3 ways to comply with remote ID. The first way is something called standard remote ID. And what this is it comes standard with your drone. And every DJI drone from 2022 on has remote ID in it. And some of the drones prior to that, they were able to retroly make that active with firmware updates. Now, most of the other drones on the market, they don't all necessarily have them. In fact, very few of them have the standard remote ID. But if it's a DJI drone and it's newer than 2022, it's going to have the remote ID in it. You don't have to worry about it. And when you register the drone with the serial number, that will also register the remote ID. Now, if you have another brand of a drone that does not have remote ID built into it, then the next thing you're going to need to look at is a broadcast module. And so the broadcast module, this is going to be a separate module that you will have to register with that drone the serial number on your broadcast module and the serial number of your drone. So that'll have to be registered, and you have to purchase the broadcast module. Now I've tested a bunch of different ones. The most reliable and the best one I found is it's made by Drone Tag. It's called a Beacon. And this one has the least amount of failures. It's fantastic. It's a great one. But there's also it's a little expensive though. It's about $200. There are some more inexpensive ones that are on Amazon, like that Ruco makes, and they work probably, not quite as good. I'd rate them probably a 7 or 8 out of 10, where I'd rate this one a 10 out of 10, but it's a lot less expensive. And in that remote ID guide that I showed you, that's on the dashboard, so you guys can download that and you have access to that. That has all the information for the different modules and all that stuff, so you guys can reference that and take a look at that. And that's the Ruco one is a good value priced option for you for that one. Okay, and then the third way that you can comply is you can go to a FRIA field. These will be like AMA fields. AMA is Academy of Modeling and Aeronautics. They've been around, actually, they started 22 years before the FAA was ever even a thought. And they've got over 2,000 flying fields all across the United States. And then there are some other FRIA fields. And these are designated drone fields. And you don't have to have a remote ID there to be able to fly, but you have to fly within the parameters of that particular airfield and where you can fly. Okay? Hey, thanks for watching. Be sure and click the button below to subscribe, and be sure and hit the thumbs up button. All right, for more free resources to help you build your drone business, visit thedroneboss.com in our resources section. To fast track your success, be sure to check out our 3-day live total immersion event at Drone Command Live. You can click somewhere around here or below in the description. All right, take care and fly safe.